you can still chat amongst yourselves. You're good. Don't worry.
Yeah. It does get quiet just before we start.
Earlier than normal, though. Earlier than normal.
Hey, Jason or Brian, she has no problem getting in. Working or no?
You're good? Okay. Time is 7 o'clock, so we'll call this meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, could I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pileski.
Here.
Trustee Berkshire.
Here.
Trustee Della Penna.
Here.
Trustee Domke.
Here.
Trustee Lanisa. Trustee Perkowski.
Here.
Trustee Trejo.
Here. We have quorum. We'll move to presentation of the prepared agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
We'll move, David.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, that motion carries. We'll now move on to village board public comment. Anyone wishing to provide a comment on a topic or an agenda item may address the board during this time. Please limit yourself to 3 minutes per our ordinance. And Madam Clerk, do we have any submitted in advance tonight?
4 submitted in advance. Is Carolyn Saggy here? Okay. Carolyn Saggy of 104 West Elm writes, to the Village Board of Trustees, I am writing to encourage you to adopt the Greenest Region Compact. I am a 19-year-old college student pursuing a degree in environmental science management. Before this, I was the president of the Earth Club throughout high school, which sparked a deep passion for the environment. As such, I felt the need to make my voice heard. The Greenest Region Compact is how we, the Village of Roselle, can make lasting change. Implementing sustainable practices is the goal, and some of them are so easy. 1, educate and train staff on sustainability practices, that's MO4. 2, implement energy efficiency measures that have a short-term payback. Examples, lighting, occupancy sensors, that's E5. Education is the first step. By making ourselves more aware, we can take small steps to make big changes. The simple act of having motion sensors to turn off lights when not in use or changing lighting to energy efficient bulbs will drastically reduce energy usage, even costs. According to your village website, you have acknowledged this point yourself, which is great. Why not get credit for it via the Greenest Region Compact if you have already addressed it? We can all contribute to a more sustainable future if we work together. I truly hope you all consider enacting this framework. Our future depends on it. Thank you for your consideration, Carolyn Saggy. Next, Janet Haltman of Roselle writes, if a stranger comes onto our property or into our home uninvited, how are we supposed to handle it? If we are alone, if there are children, if it is night, etc. Also, should we post no trespassing signs?
Deputy Chief Barreto, would you like to address that?
Yeah, so if somebody comes onto your property and you feel comfortable enough to tell them to leave, you absolutely have the right to tell them to get off your property. If you don't feel comfortable, contact the Roselle Police Department and we will absolutely send an officer out there to take care of it. If somebody's in your house and they're unwelcome, absolutely call 911. There was a question about, also on here about no trespass signs. It's always within your right to post a no trespass sign. And when you post a no trespass sign, what that does is forgoes the fact that you have to tell them to get off if you have no trespass signs posted all over the property.
Thank you so much. And I'll just reiterate, it's important for any time you feel uncomfortable, you see something, please call 911. We do not have any non-emergency number that we actively maintain. So please, 911 is your use for anything that you want to do related to police and safety. And you don't need to worry about overstressing the system or whatnot. That's why we're a part of a intergovernmental agreement for dispatch services. Other comment tonight, Madam Clerk?
Nicole Kraus of 525 Spring Street writes, I would like to see the Village of Roselle adopt the Greenest Region Compact by the end of the year. The village and community of Roselle are already using native and sustainable landscaping on municipal properties, which is goal L30A, and we've planted trees to sustain and renew the urban forest, which is goal L24. In addition, I think we could easily connect local businesses with education, training, and jobs related to sustainability, goal ED1, and create an award or recognition program to encourage and report sustainable behaviors for residents at home, goal SC+53. Nicole and Ernest Kraus of Roselle. Last one is Ginger Seehafer of Roselle. She writes, as a proud resident of Roselle of 15 years, I fully support adopting the GRC to help our community keep with best practices in combating the effects of climate change and pollution where we live. And that's it for submitting in advance.
All right, thank you. Before I open up to the floor, I'm going to just take a wild guess. Could I have a show of hands for those of you in the audience that are in support of the Greenest Region Compact tonight? Thank you so much. Is there anyone here tonight that wishes to make a public comment? I know we have 2 slips that have been submitted. Roberta Barino. And if you don't mind, please make sure the microphone's on so that way everyone at home can hear you.
I think so. I'm Roberta Barino. I'm a resident of Roselle, and I'm speaking on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Roselle Bloomingdale. The League of Women Voters of Roselle Bloomingdale urges the Village of Roselle to adopt the Greenest Region Compact through municipal resolution. Adoption would allow Roselle to promote its sustainability successes and receive guidance from the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus on a free, flexible framework that has been proven to empower communities. Urban systems are part of a broader interconnected city-region territory. Roselle would join the 142 communities that leverage the strength of municipal governments to collaboratively build vibrant, sustainable communities across the Chicago region. These are not regulations. The Greenest Region Compact is a framework of 49 high-level choices aligned with local, regional, national, and international sustainability goals. These goals were developed through consensus input and are broadly supported by municipal members of the Chicago Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus. All Chicago Region Councils of Government have also adopted the GRC, including the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference. The framework goals are intended to spur municipal action, support mayors in their role as environmental leaders, and foster collaboration that balances the patterns of human life and the built and natural environments. Specific actions are prioritized and chosen by individual communities. One of the most powerful public goods a government can provide is environmental sustainability. Sustainability is defined as meeting the needs of the current generation without compromising the ability for future generations to meet those same needs. Since municipalities largely have control over land use and development, they can implement sustainable zoning practices with a precision that county, state, or federal governments can't match. Studies show that zoning ordinances should be updated to encourage sustainable development, as older ordinances are simply too outdated to incorporate new eco-friendly technologies. Costs vary, but larger cost items can combine the pocketbook of the county, state, and federal government with the accountability and stewardship of local ones through grants. Roselle has a growing number of concerned citizens who care about the health and well-being of our local government and its inhabitants. Among them are talented individuals looking to serve their communities by increasing Roselle's sustainability footprint. These volunteers can provide critical services to smaller communities such as ours that do not have the resources to dedicate significant staff time to sustainability issues. Young voters broke turnout records in 2018 and 2020. Generation Z and millennial voters already make up nearly 40% of the electorate. Concern for the planet is a major motivator for this generation. Young voters understand they bear the consequences tomorrow for inattention to sustainability issues today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next I have Alyssa Wilkie.
Hi, my name is Elise Wilkie.
My apologies.
No, happens all the time. Don't worry about it. I'm a Roselle resident. I'm here on behalf of Green Roselle and in collaboration with the League of Women Voters and several other groups. We asked the Village of Roselle Board to vote yes to join the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus Greenest Region Compact by the end of this year, 2022. We'd be joining over 140 other communities that are already part of the GRC, and we can use ideas and established structures to collaborate with them. The free-to-use GRC framework has an abundance of ideas and options, none required, but many of which Roselle is already doing. By adopting this, we can promote and highlight Roselle's accomplishments, maintain current momentum, and look forward to new initiatives. This community has a growing number of motivated individuals who are joining together, creating cohorts of people that are ready to take action and volunteer their time to accomplish these goals. For example, Green Roselle was formed last April and has already held 8 community cleanup days in Roselle, became part of the Adopt a Highway program to keep Irving Park Road free from trash, held a free composting 101 educational event for the community, volunteered at Roselle Recycles, and helped to plant trees in Engle Park just a few days ago. I've met so many great people from our community these past couple of months, and they're all dedicated, hardworking, and excited about sustainability. They're here and ready to do the work. They just need a commitment from the board and a go-ahead to start attacking some of the low-hanging fruit that will help transform our community. I believe that this is nothing but positivity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any other members of the public here today that wish to speak to the board? If you don't mind, just state your name for the record.
Hello, I am Jason Sullivan, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Earth Club from Lake Park. I would first like to start by addressing how important it is to me and my peers that this resolution is even being proposed, as it has always been a subject of immense concern to face such a problem as is being faced today and not shy away from its immensity. I acknowledge that we cannot do everything, and it is far too complex for that. However, I do know that change on a larger scale begins with change on a smaller scale, and with the GRC, we have the opportunity to do that. We must come together as a collective to do it, though, and if Roselle can start a certain movement, any others who wish to observe us will follow suit. Each of us interacts with the natural world every day. It is wondrous how much we gain from it, and I know that there is no pleasure or progress to come from harming it. As such, we all must contribute to protecting that of which we have around us. It is something that we must do to advance for a more desirable future. When thinking about all that Roselle has done and what it still needs to do, I often imagine a certain hill in the Meacham Grove Forest Preserve, which we share with Bloomingdale. While Roselle looks like just another suburb from the ground, from the hill it looks like just another part of nature, with the trees expanding and defining where we live, work, and enjoy ourselves. It's an inspirational reminder of what we have done to get to this point, and it gives me hope for the future. As Roselle turns 100 and celebrates its centennial, why not give it the best gift it can receive, which is our hope that it will continue and prosper. And just basically our commitment that we will pursue its well-being many years into the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any other members of the public today that wish to speak? All right, seeing none, I'll just ask staff to provide the board with information on the Greenest Region Compact. I know we sent that out earlier this spring, but just so that way people can look at the materials again and let me know by the before our next board meeting, any thoughts on bringing that before the board.
There's one more person who wants to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you, sir. Please come up to the podium. Just state your name before you begin your comment.
It's very intimidating. My name is Dennis Foster. I'm here to ask a question. I live in the Season 4 area, and my neighbors tell me there have been 9 break-ins on cars in Season 4, where people are trying to get their remote for the garage doors open. And also 4 neighbors told me they've been tempted to breaks in their home when they were in the house a couple times. Is this true? Is this going on? Do we have this going on in our neighborhood?
I'll let Deputy Chief Barretto take that one. If you want to stay in there or if you want to sit down, it's up to you.
A couple of weeks ago, we had an incident where we had people came through town and were checking for open car doors. Once they found the open car doors, they were going in there to check to see if the keys were actually in the car. So based on our investigation, they weren't going in specifically to burglarize cars, but to specifically look for the key fobs in the cars so that they could actually take the car. There were 3, I believe, four cars that actually had the key fobs in them, and they actually took the cars. And I believe, did we recover 3 so far? Yeah, so far we've recovered 3 of the 4 cars. So it's currently an active investigation. We sent out a Facebook post to let people know that's extremely important, not only to keep your key fobs in the house, but also to lock your car every night. We try to send that out at least once a quarter. It happens quite often. We have a very peaceful, great suburb, great town. And so sometimes people get complacent. So we send those out regularly to advise people to make sure that they keep their car doors locked.
Generally speaking, as a policy, because of the complex nature of it, if there's an active investigation, we can't necessarily discuss too much. And that's where we try to push out communication to the community as far as safety tips, such as make sure to lock your cars, don't leave your keys in the car and things of that nature. So that way we can continue to promote safety for everyone's well-being.
With the attempted break-ins, four of my neighbors told me they had an incident where someone tried to push open the door and get in their house.
Sergeant Barretto, any insights on that one? We might need to get more information for you to comment on that, but.
We had one individual within the last couple days that actually was looking inside of a house. He jiggled the door and we caught him and he's arrested.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming out tonight.
It doesn't sound like to the extreme.
Not to the extreme nature of what
So,
is going around in the.
Back to your neighbors, then, it doesn't sound as case, but they could always call the police department if they have questions.
Last check, since I missed that one. Any other public comment? All right, then we'll jump into the business. What was that?
You're about to talk? Mike, he looked like he was going to talk.
No, okay. You're trying to fake me out, Lee.
No, he looked like he was going to jump up.
So we'll continue on with our business, and you're happy to stay the whole night for our meeting. If you'd like to leave, that is your choice, and we're not offended at all. So we'll move to officials and staff reports. Under my report, as was brought up, we've got our centennial celebration coming up. So we've got a few key dates coming up. So on Friday, October 7th, the actual anniversary of our incorporation, we'll be hosting that reunion and open house at Village Hall. So we'll be unveiling with the Roselle Arts and Culture Foundation, our centennial sculpture on the side of the building. It's been done by local resident S. Michael Ray, actually made in Roselle. So that's kind of a cool fact about it. So that'll be exciting. So catch up with past elected officials, staff, and others on Friday. And then obviously we've got Founders Day Fest coming up on Saturday in the afternoon from 2 to fireworks are done whenever they are done. And so we have a lot of fun things that we've been doing in collaboration with the Roselle Park District. So I hope to see everyone out there for that fun afternoon and evening. So, and with that being the case, that's all that I have for tonight. Any trustees have a report? Wayne?
You sure know how to clear a room, David. don't you?
I
I just wanted to thank Trinity Lutheran and Roselle History Museum for, they had the Trinity Cemetery event on Saturday. And I don't know if anybody had a chance to go, but there's over 1,000 graves in Trinity Cemetery. And many of them were people that were very influential in Roselle. Some of them named streets after them. And so they had a plaque next to different monuments saying who they were and what they did for the village. So, and there is a website you can go to if you wanted to see the people that are buried there, but a lot of them had a lot to do with Roselle being built. So if you missed it, I think we would encourage them again to do it again in a year or two. So great event.
Any other trustees have a report tonight? Yes, trustee Kirkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to let everyone know that the Lake Park Educational Foundation is currently looking for volunteers just to help out. Whether you want to be on the board of directors or just help out at events. So if you have any interest in doing that, you can just check out Lake Park's website, go to Lake Park Educational Foundation page. And it's a great cause. Helps provide scholarships to lots of students at Lake Park, a lot of programming for Lake Park students, and yeah, can't speak highly enough of the organization.
Thank you so much. Any other trustees have a report tonight? Village clerk? All right, village attorney?
Nothing, Mayor.
Village administrator?
No report.
Treasurer's report. Tom, break the streak. Can't skip the money report. That's important.
You don't get to skip it. You can make it short. Skip it.
Good evening. So in your packet tonight is the August Treasurer's Report. Of course, details the revenues and expenditures of the general fund and all the and the water and sewer fund as well, and then contains income statements for all the rest of the funds. But I wanted to focus on page 2 of the report. Page 2 of the report, I have the monthly budget versus actual for select revenues, and I just wanted to point out that almost all of the revenues that we track on this page are above budget. The only ones that are not, you can see property taxes are not. Of course, Cook County has not issued the property tax bills yet, and we still have no word. Neither do I have an EAV for Cook County either. Vehicle stickers are lower through this same time period, through the budget to actual, and then ambulance billing. But if you remember from past reports, it's catching up. So that was the lag that we discussed when the new rates were approved. Some highlights of August. Revenues exceed expenditures for the year by just over 1.2 million. Sales tax continues to show higher. It's higher, 12% higher than 2021. And we're continuing to see that trend. Eating tax decreased by 3.1% for the month, but not all restaurants filed their tax returns for the month of June. And for the year, the tax is up 9.3%. And then finally, the commuter lot daily fees continue to climb. We had $8,409.81 in August, and that's the first time we've collected over $8,000 in daily fees since January of 2020. So while the permits are still down, we are seeing the daily fee, which still shows that people are coming back, just not as much as before. Obviously, we've received a lot of revenue from the permits on a monthly and quarterly basis, but we are seeing some commuters come back. And with that, if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Tom tonight? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'll move into our unfinished business. So first we have the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine, procedural, informational, self-explanatory, or non-controversial in nature and will be enacted in one motion. There'll be no discussion on these items. Tonight we have presentation approval of the village board minutes of September 13th, 2022, and to adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the submittal of a grant application for the Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a second. Madam Clerk, could I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Della Penna.
Aye.
Trustee Berkshire.
Yes.
Trustee Lanisa. Aye. Trustee Burkowski.
Aye.
That motion passes. We'll now move on to community development. Trustee Domke.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I have one motion, a motion to pass an ordinance of proposing the establishment of Timberleaf Townhomes Special Service Area.
Second.
This is the first step of a multi-step process to impose a special service area to collect fees for that development. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, could I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Berkshire.
Yes.
Trustee Della Penna.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa. Aye. Trustee Burkowski.
Aye. That motion carries. And that is all under community development tonight. Administration, trustee Delapenna.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to make a motion to pass an ordinance proposing the establishment of the Salerno Summerfield Lake Street Special Service Area.
Second. And again, in the same fashion, the other one, this is the first step of a multi-step process in order to set this special service area up. And this is per our prior agreement that we had with Salerno's for the redevelopment of their lot for niches and should only be used in the case of a failure on their end to comply with us. So with that being the case, any discussion from the board? Could I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Berkshire.
Yes.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa. Aye. Trustee Prokowski.
Aye. That motion carries. That is it for administration. We have nothing under fire, police, or public works, but finance. Trustee Pierkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move approval of the accounts payable list for September 26, 2022 in the amount of $1,448,065.39.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Berkshire.
Yes.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
That motion carries. We'll now move on to new business. We'd have a second opportunity for public comment. Does anyone in the public wish to make a comment at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to our one and only presentation tonight, temporary purchase policy for vehicles. Public Works Director Karen Young.
Good evening. So tonight before you is a temporary purchasing policy that the village staff has been discussing. As you know, in 2021, we came to you at the end of that fiscal year requesting to advance purchase several vehicles. 6 of those vehicles were canceled after the first of that year. So in 2022 and 2023, we've got a significant number of vehicles that need to be purchased. We have a total of 16 vehicles that are proposed to be purchased. We continue to see the same supply chain issues, the same issues with securing pricing for vehicles, and also the short order timeframes that often is not providing us the ability to get before you and follow our normal procedures. So we're looking for a variance of that and creating a temporary purchasing policy for the next year to provide us the ability and flexibility to be able to secure vehicles that we are really in need of, and making sure that we're getting them in a timely fashion so we're not being put on that cancellation because we have our orders in at the end of that process. So what we're looking to do is pass a resolution that would allow us, in your packet was 16 vehicles that we're looking to purchase. The total purchase price, they are estimated because we aren't able to secure pricing like we have in the past to be able to present that to you. But giving ourselves a number to go up to, we would continue to try to secure the best pricing that we can, either through Sourcewell or working with multiple vendors to get the best pricing. As part of that process, we'd be working with the village administrator and I'm sure communicating with the mayor on what our expectations are for those vehicles, and then bringing that information back to the village board for approval. So it would be done very openly in terms of that process. And then we would be presenting that information back to the village board with the final purchase information, but again, allowing us that flexibility to secure those purchases and be able to move forward in advance of our typical process. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions on the board, Trustee Berkshire?
It's not so much of a question. I think it's great because right now this is some really weird circumstances. I know personally trying to get a car, you're ordering it a year in advance. So I like the concept. I think it's great. I just have one request, and that's in item C, where the village administrator is hereby authorized to purchase motor vehicles at 375. My request is that it's seconded by the mayor. And then the information is passed to the board like normal, but that way we have a level of check and balance for the public to see that it's not someone just off going and buying vehicles. That would be my only proposal.
Yep. I think we normally would communicate, but I totally get the sentiment in terms of just making it clear for the public's sake and whatnot. So I think there's shouldn't be a huge objection to that, hopefully from anyone. Any other questions or comments from the board?
Flexibility we need right now.
So as far as just a show of hands on the board, everyone comfortable moving forward with the slight modification Bruce has proposed as presented by staff? All right, great. So you've got direction from the board.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, and that was our only new business topic for tonight because we're prepping for budget. So get ready for some really fun, intense meetings coming up here. With that being the case, could I get a motion to convene executive session to discuss?
So moved.
Second. The
The
topic
adjourned
of
to
executive
discuss.
session is to discuss collective bargaining with the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 150. No final actions intended to be taken.
Mr. Mayor, were you planning to adjourn this and then come back or to adjourn after the? fact?
We'll explain that after this motion's voted on, so. Roll call. Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. Could I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Berkshire.
Yes.
Trustee Della Penna. Trustee Domke. Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
And that motion carries. We will be adjourning the meeting after executive session. No action will be taken after the executive session,
You'll be adjourning
from executive session.
executive session, will not be returning to the day.